I do not know whose idea it was to ask me to chair the judges of this year's television awards, or why. I have difficulties, intellectual and emotional, with religion. I have contributed very little to television. I have no reputation in either field. But a decade ago, a program called The Naked Pilgrim, in which I took part, won the Premier Award. Was that really experience enough to qualify me to judge other programs? Perhaps not to judge, but at least to understand that the intentions of other presenters, writers, and researchers, even the research itself, is too often subverted by the machinery of television, and to understand that what eventually reaches the screen is an etiolated ghost of the original intention, the victim of martyrdom in the editing suite, cut and shaped by editors, genre commissioners, and channel controllers, who may well know nothing and care nothing for the subject, but who, when not perusing the overnights or the demographic trends, are in fact the slave masters of writers, directors, and cameramen. Television has thus become a creature of cliché and custom, convention and conformity. It is a bed of procrustes on which every program must be made to fit, either by chopping off its feet and shanks so that it bleeds to death, or by stretching it as on a rack until every joint is dislocated. Every program must then have an irrelevant leitmotif, the white line in the middle of the road, the blur of the landscape from a train, the train itself, the car, the bicycle, the horse, approaching, passing, or departing, because, as one director put it, the audience must know how you got here. Such shots take half a day to set up and achieve, time better spent contributing more to argument or narrative, or even shortening the program. There is a dread sameness in television, no matter whether the presenter is following the Silk Route or popularizing the Italian Renaissance. And the religious program is not immune. Put a camel within sight of Michael Palin, and he must ride it. Say tent maker to David Suchet, and he must at once start weaving canvas. And does it never occur to directors that we see too much of presenters, and that too often they become the program? The BBC, untrammeled by commercial factors, is the only broadcaster that can afford to make serious programs on the basis of subject, argument, and intellectual necessity. Among them, programs that deal with religion. We live in times much troubled by religion. It forms the politics of modern nation states from Burma and Indonesia in the Far East to the shores of the Mediterranean in the near, where it is torn apart by the divisions of Islam, Christians are menaced minorities, and Jews are prepared to do battle for the Holy Land. Christians might better understand if we knew more of other faiths. Those who are not Christians should know more of Christianity. For not only does it lie at the core of British culture, history, law, and social attitudes, it is politically important in the Hispanic Americas, and in extreme Protestant forms, is a vital force in the politics of the United States. Religion still affects the future of humanity worldwide. It is too important to be neglected by broadcasters. You must forgive this brief rant. It is made only because I believe that television is capable of being the greatest of educational and cultural forces, but that its panjandrums are utterly seduced by the audience numbers that they believe can only be achieved by ever-increasing vulgarity and ever lower intellectual levels. Now to this year's awards.